Good evening, Camp Springs. Good evening, community. Good evening to the volunteers, and good evening to our guests. My name is Delonte Harrison. I'm the Vice President of Camp Springs Civic Association, and we're about to start our meeting. We're going to start it here at 7:06. I want to thank all of you, all the volunteers that are helping us with bringing the community together. It's been um, it's been really interesting for the community to step up. we've been we've been stepping up um and the people have been coming out, and we always need more volunteers. But I just want to say that the community is the one thing that I seem like I can always count on. I appreciate you guys for stepping up and coming out. So the things that we've been working on um are things that we want to bring. We want to have a situation where we will bring everyone together. Last week we was talking about fundraising and things of that nature, and the community stepped up. People came along and they started volunteering, and so I'm here to announce that we're having a popcorn fundraiser. That these funds will help us, pay for the Zoom and also other things that we need in the community, like maybe have our community day, something that you guys want to vote on to bring us all together. But there was a nice something I want to read to you that I thought it was very interesting, and I like it. It says, let me read it to you. It says, "We are thrilled to announce that the Camp Springs Civic Association will be hosting a double good fundraiser beginning on March the 13th. This exciting event presents a wonderful opportunity for our community to come together, definitely that, and support local initiatives, and y'all can enjoy some delicious treats. The Double Good fundraiser features a variety of gourmet popcorn flavors that's perfect for snacking or gift giving or simply enjoy at home. By participating, you're not only treating yourself and your loved ones, but you also contribute to improving projects and programs in our community, because like I said, we trying to bring have money so we can do block parties or things of that nature to bring the community together, bring your neighbors together. I think that's going to be our gift. Other than, in my idea, that's going to give us that step up other than other communities, and I'm gonna try to help them to do the same. All right. So to participate, simply send your email address to cscamedia at gmail.com, and we'll send you a link to exclusive popcorn store our pop-up store, where you can easily place your orders, and strongly encourage you to share the link with everybody so they can buy some popcorn just to support the community. We want to be able to do some things for our community and our friends and our families, all the ones that we're a big community, and our neighbors. Just we want to spread the word so we can have the maximum people to help our fundraising efforts. We appreciate that. So share the link with your friends and family, neighbors. Amplify our impact. You know, support us, and we can make y'all make a real difference. Y'all make a real difference in the community. It's I can't. I started out saying that because I see the efforts that's come along. All right, and also that fundraiser money, because like I said, we're trying to do dinners. We trying to come up with ideas to bring us all together. I just want to also um, say that I have a flyer here. I'm gonna read it to you. It's a free spring break camp, and this is at Beltway Church of Christ, and that is 6,000 Davis Boulevard in Camp Springs, and that starts on it says Monday, March the 30th through April the 3rd. So if you want to reach out to them about that spring camp, I think that'd be a good thing. Plus, it's in our community, and we want to support everyone. All right, so I want to thank you all, and let's get our agenda together. All right, so we want to reach out and get a police report from our corporals from Division 4 and Division 5. Corporal Miller, if you're available, I saw you earlier. You can go first, and I can find out who's next after that. Corporal Miller, you there? Corporal Miller, you there? Nope. All right, so maybe he's not there. Is anyone from Division 5? All right, because I saw him here earlier. We'll come back around. All right, Miss. Let's go to our treasure report. Miss Randolph, are you available?
Hi, yes, I am available.
Thank
I
you.
just want to take this time to remind everyone to tell their friends and especially their neighbors to join us, become members of the CSCA. Let me see. You can find additional information about becoming a member on our website, which is campspringscsca.org. And at the bottom of the page, click on Become a Member, and that way you can help us, you can volunteer, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Um, Also, I want to bring up something else that came across here in our community. We're having a comprehensive cleanup. I don't know if you can see this. They have a comprehensive cleanup. These are door tags that came from the county. They're going around in sections of our community, and they're going to check on road conditions. They're going to check on curves, if trees need to be cut, but also they're going to be checking and see if for abandoned cars. They're going to be checking out for homes that's that falling apart or falling down. So I have flyers. They all broken down in three phases in Camp Springs. Camp Springs is the largest civic association in the world, so it's really large. So we have three sections here. This is phase one, and phase one looks to be out here of Allentown Way to Pageant's Corner to by Tinker Creek to Winchester Estate, and that's going to be on March the 30th. Is when they're going to come out and do they and they're going to be putting stuff out on. It says here that they're going to be looking at home ordinance and stuff like that. They're going to be targeting to and abandoned vehicles and all these things, trash, bulk trash and stuff that's sitting out. Stormwater. They're going to be looking at the stormwater drains, and so we have this is just phase one that's going to be on March the 30th and to April the 9th. Let me see if I can show you that April the 9th. And so in phase two, and this was going to start on April the 6th. How come that's April the 9th? Okay, so they're doing it, they crossing over. This was going to start, and this is phase two, and that's going to start on April the 6th until April the 16th. And from Pageant's Corner, is that the same one? No, yeah, this Pageant's Corner. On the other side, Thurgood Marshall, um, like I say, Henderson Ridge. There's going to be already Middleton Way, and that's when it's going to start. And what I'm showing you, and also there's also Allentown Acres. Um, what is this? Yorkshire Village. There's Woodbury Forest Park. So all this is they have different phases, and that's going to be on April the 13th through April the 23rd. And so I have about 3,000 of these door hangers. And so what I'm asking for the community, see, I need volunteers. Even if you can do your block, you can note your neighbors, give your neighbors some to do their street, or if you know of a neighbor in the community, give them some so they can do their block. We need to just hang these on people's doors so they can know what's going on and be prepared when the county comes around, inspecting their properties, and maybe they can say what things that they've been seeing. Maybe there's a stopped up drain or something that they can't see during the day. You can come out there and say, hey, we got a drain out here that's clogging up every time it rains. You need to look into that. So I want everybody, I want to pass these out if I can, if you can. I was thinking, and I was thinking maybe we should. I can meet you at PJ's Coffee, maybe this Saturday or something like that, to pass get some together and pass them out in your area, so you can let everybody know the work that's going on. We definitely need volunteers. Everybody can do something. Everyone can do something. if you can just take care of your block, that would help. Grab some of these. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna be out. I guess I need to look at my schedule, but also, yeah, because we become a member. Because when you become a member, you get to know all these things, and we just try to express this stuff too. But if you can come out to, let's say PJ's Coffee on Saturday, I don't know, I can be there from 9, I guess 9 to 10. I'll try to be out there, and I'll be there. And if you need any of these flyers for your community or for your block, we can make that. I can make that happen. And also, if you need your other neighbors, whatever neighbors, we need a lot of people to come and it's easier. If it's just myself and just the board going around the neighborhood, it'll take us months. But if everybody come together, grab a few, and you do your street, and everybody do stuff, we end up doing it in no time. It's no time when we all share. But anyway, so that's what I'll be 9 to 12 on Saturday. I don't know why I'm committing to that, but anyway. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'll be there to try to pass out these flyers and PJ's Coffee. Um, let's go back to our police report. Isn't Corporal Miller back online? Are you there, sir?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you give us a report, please? I appreciate it.
All right, good evening, everybody. Corporal Miller from District 4. For the Camp Springs area, for the District 4 side, we don't have too much for the last 2 months. Our biggest thing is thefts and theft from auto. So we had one theft from auto, but good it wasn't in actually your community. It was on Stamp Road. Somebody broke and stole items out of car, and one maybe should be in the community is Bentley Road. Suspect stole a vehicle from over there. And Canterbury Way, we had one assault, which our detectives is investigating. That's all I have for Camp Springs community.
Well, thank you so much, Corporal. Really appreciate your time that you given us. Is anyone from Division 5? I guess we have no report, Division 5. Well, all right, we're gonna move on without agenda. And yeah, we want to move on to the agenda. I want to Councilmember Barrows had and also I want to Councilmember Barrows had a family emergency that he couldn't make it tonight. Please have us, keep him in our prayers. However, Mark Hamilton will be addressing our concerns at tonight's meeting. And before I turn it over to you, Mark, I want to say good up to Vince from OCR. He's online. I want to say, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you? Hi,
I'm good.
everyone. Hi, Camp Springs.
Doing well. All
Hey,
right.
Mark.
What's up, Vince? How are you guys? How's everybody, Camp Springs?
All right.
This will be my second meeting attending. I was in person for the last one, but this will be my second one for attending. So thank you for having me. And I'm sorry that Councilman Burrows couldn't make it, but it was a dire family emergency he had to go out of town for. So please keep him in your prayers. Um, so I just wanted to thank you for having me, and I just wanted to address a few things. The first thing I want to address is if you guys haven't heard about our Pepco Senior Support Program, um, we're doing that. We're for anybody that's in District 8, they are 65 and up and over. We are trying to help because of the rise in the utility prices, especially Pepco. We actually have submitted a bill and trying to investigate Pepco for their urgent rise in prices. And so we are giving up to $500 being the max for seniors to help pay utility bills, and it's utility bills only. A few people have called our office asking for lawn care, asking for all this stuff, and I know we don't have all the money for that, but we're trying to help where we can. So we're definitely trying to help with the Pepco. Please apply by March 29th. And and the best phone number to reach for applying is not our council office. The best phone number, and I'll put in the chat, is 301-888-0463. That is with our senior support fund. And on the flyer that most of you all have gotten regarding this is on the bottom of the flyer. It's under the nonprofit's name that we have given the money to so that they can work on this is the second district / senior support fund. So let me put that in the chat really quickly. But that number is for senior support fund is 301-888-0463. And then so the other thing that I wanted to address is that basically that on one of the issues that you guys saw is that the last property taxes and things of that nature that everybody's was not paid for. And I'm not sure what's that going on, but I'm gonna also put my email address in the chat so that I can just follow up with some of the nonprofits that we worked with last time because we don't have any of that information. All the nonprofits do. And then also just letting people know, my name is Mark. I'm the Director of Constituent Outreach for Councilmember Burrows. I make visits, so if you guys have any issues regarding DPWT, any issues regarding just different things with DPI, with any agencies. And then I also have Vince here from 311, who I've been working with really, really well. We've been getting a lot of 311 issues done in our area. And so one of the things that we like to do in our office is if you guys could send us the receipt number, and then I talk to Vince about the receipt number so that we can follow up and see exactly what's going on in real time instead of just saying, hey, there's a problem. Hey, what can Councilman Burrows' office do about it? Trust me, if we could come out in the street and pick up everything, we would. But we just need some receipts numbers most of the time. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is any area in Camp Springs that for traffic studies, right? We're trying to do traffic studies. So one of the things that I do for my job is if you feel like there's a congested area, street that is a county street, not state property, not 210 or things of that nature or federal, you can reach out to me. I'm gonna put my email address in the chat again. But you can reach out to me and I will submit a traffic study to Department of Public Works and Transportation. Also, one of the other things that we noticed in District 8 is there's a lot of people that litter, and then 311 helps and gets it up. DPWT does their job and gets it up, but they litter again, right? And I think one of the things that us in Councilman Burrows' office want to do is definitely have I'm going out to different areas I do it every other Friday. And so I want to go out and see, hey, this is where some of this litter is. I take pictures, I send, and then I'm gonna say, hey, these are where these cameras should be so that we can enforce and make sure that people aren't littering. And I'll have questions at the end of this whole entire thing, but I know my colleague Vince from 311 is on. So Vince, do you want to say any words? I know you put your information in the chat maybe, but just wanted to definitely give him a shout out and say that 311 is doing a great job.
I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you.
Problem.
I just want to say hello, everyone. Good evening. I was gonna drop some flyers in the chat to promote a few events that we do have coming up. On April the 18th, we will have the Prince George's County 330th birthday. And if you're wondering why that number is larger than the 250th on America, it's because Prince George's County is older than America. Fun fact. I'll be dropping that flyer in the chat. And then we also have coming up the Momentum event. It is this Saturday, March 14th. I'll be dropping that flyer in the chat as well. And then as always, if you need to contact me, I dropped my contact info in the chat. And then as always, if you have any further community concerns, please contact 311. Thank you.
Right.
Yep, and
Go ahead,
then
Mark.
I just wanted to mention one more thing. And so another concern I saw was a lot of panhandling that's going on for displaced human beings coming into the area to panhandle. And so I wanted to let you guys know that we are working on a bill that addresses that and in the most humane way possible, because we don't want these people like hurt or just because they're asking for money. So, and I see a comment in the chat, and I'll address all questions. I want you guys to get through the meeting, and then if that's okay with you, Delonte, if I can address questions at the end.
You want it at the end?
Yeah, I can, or I could do, let me look right now. I saw one question, and maybe it just went to me. I'm trying to see.
Let me see. Let me see. Shemaine, we have any questions or yeah, answer who's in the chat, what they say. Let's see.
I'm looking right now. Give me a second. Thought I saw something.
Anyone has a question, want to raise their hand?
Yeah, if anybody has a question, they can raise their hand.
It must have gone privately because I don't see it in the general
Yeah,
chat.
it must have been privately. So I'll see. Sorry.
Okay.
Got you. Yeah, it was private. I'm gonna talk to them privately. Or is it in the chat? Let me see.
There is one from Shirley Singer.
Yes, I see the Shirley Singer. So, Miss Singer, if Pepco did your road in your neighborhood last year, reach out to me, send me an email just telling me like what, and if there are like potholes, for example, Vince, am I right? But you can like online, you can like say where the pothole is in 311, they'll reach out to DPWT regarding it. But if it's Pepco or WSSC that did the road and there were some damages and there's proof of the damages, you can reach out to me at mjhamilton@co.pg.md.us and we can talk about it and I'll come out and see the damages and then I'll reach out to Pepco or WSSC.
Okay. Thank you so much. I see a Miss Sayers.
I
Can you hear
don't.
me?
Yes, ma'am. I just heard you.
Okay. Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
Mr. Hamilton.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. This is Shantae Sawyers. We've spoken via email.
Yes.
I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Will your office create any opportunities for people with special needs, like job opportunity programs for people with special needs? So, for example, I had a meeting at my son's school. He attends Potomac High School, and we were talking about the program that he's in, which is the Community Resource Instruction Program, which is special education. And they were talking about the next steps. And so one of the, I guess, I don't want to say voids, but one of the areas of concern for me is that when they get into 11C, which is the third year of 11th grade and then 12th grade, is that there are not a lot of job opportunity programs for them when they do work study. And so, but it's a lot, like Potomac is kind of behind, what is that? Oxon Hill, Rivertown. So I'm just saying it would be a nice opportunity for them to actually be able to get work experience in a meaningful job. I know there is the Census Bureau and there's also the Smithsonian that's off of Silver Hill Road. That would be something awesome for them, not just them working in food services. So that would be something that I would challenge your office with looking into, is creating more opportunities, having the area businesses partner with the schools to, extend them some jobs. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that I will myself will look into for, and I know I'm gonna be reaching out to our school board member just to see, because we already have a leadership academy where we do partner with select students that apply, but we don't have a special needs program, and so I think that's definitely something that we can definitely talk about. And Miss Sawyers, you know exactly where to find me. You have my email, so please feel free to reach out, and I definitely that's gonna be one of the things I look up tomorrow. So
Okay,
and
perfect.
you have my number too, right? I think you do,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
give me a call. Give me the call Monday. Okay?
Okay, will do. Thank you.
This
Thank
this
you.
will be excuse me. This will be interesting. I didn't want to stop you, but this will be interesting because let me see if Zakia is on the line. She's just, our school
Yes, she's
board
a board member.
representative.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, if she's on the line. Can you? I wonder if she's on the line. Are you there, Zakia? I guess she's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I was gonna me and Zakia have a meeting next week, so I can talk to her as well about this.
that's great. That's great. Anyone else has a question? All right. All right. Let's see. Zakia's not here. She's not here. I don't. Oh, somebody. Angel has a
Sean,
question.
Delonte, this
Yes.
is Charmaine. So we have some general concerns to be sent. Can we get them to address some of those while you're waiting, Mr. Hamilton?
Yeah. We sent you. They should have a list of concerns that we had. Oh, you did. You went through those lists, right? Are there's a particular thing that you were talking about, Charmaine? Because Angel had her hand up.
Okay, take Angel.
Okay.
Tremaine, that's fine. I was gonna mention that list that we had sent over, so Tremaine's on the right page with that.
So yes, we can. So I did look into some of the rental concerns about 5405 Chesterfield Drive, 5409 Chesterfield Drive, 4916. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So
That's part of it.
I'm trying to see because the county is very tricky with private versus property concerns, and so what I'm trying to see is the regarding the parked and drive vehicles, right? A lot of the times we submit some of these things to DPWT or they're on the gravel and gas, and they say that they go and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but what I'm trying to do is just make sure that and so if you guys want to set up meetings for these exact concerns, I did see it. We just haven't particularly I there was haven't really got into it yet, but I do see it and I will if you want, you have my email address and we can set up a meeting to talk about these concerns regarding the gravel and the grass. Especially with private property. However, some of the concerns regarding cars that are parked um without license or cars a lot of the times a lot of these cars are not there when we send actual vehicles to go check or ticket or go tow. They turn up that they're not there, but some of the ones that have just been there for years, we definitely want to make sure that those are not being an eyesore in the Camp Springs community.
Okay. Angel has a question.
I was just gonna ask Vince, who already has his hand raised, about we're talking about the cars being parked on grass, different things like that. I know a lot of people in the community have put in 311 tickets about um homes in the area having mechanic businesses run out of their property. The amount of cars parked on the street, whether it's on the street, the grass, or parked in vacant lots or vacant homes. I'm just wondering what is being done about those tickets. I know that could be like a park and revenue authority, but also DPI because I didn't think people could run businesses out of their house without certain licenses.
Right.
So that might be something that needs to be answered because I know that was a big deal and this has been going on for years that a lot of people in the community have been complaining about. So if you could talk on that, that would be great.
So, Angel, is there any way that you can send me those 311 tickets? And Vince, I don't know if you're still on, but me and Vince can talk about them. Just, hey, following up regarding the status of those exact ticket. If you have the receipt numbers, that would be perfect.
Okay,
So,
so I'm
so
not
yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
here.
putting that in. Oh, okay, go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, I'm here. I just want to interject. I'm actually a little excited to talk about it because I learned about the processes with all of it. So, I just want to shout out Ms. Charmaine real quick because we did take a walk through the neighborhood, and I've actually seen the actual concerns ourselves. And we've actually reported it too. Since some of them already had tickets, what the county does is when they close it, that is the DPI or Revenue Authority. When they close it, it's essentially going to the next process. Unfortunately, we're kind of at the point where we're trying to fix that connection between the agencies, as far as our communication, because what happens is we get the concern via 311 and it's shared to the agency. And so when that happens, they close the ticket out and then it just goes to the next process. That next process, they get ticketed and that may go to the court, because it's property. Revenue Authority handles things that you can see from the curb. And I just learned about this as well. They handle things that can be seen from the curb. And in that particular neighborhood, we saw with driving through, we saw that there were cars parked in the backyards and like we could tell people were doing work there. But in that case, they may have already been cited. And at that point, the county's just waiting for a court date. That's as much as I can share right now. And that's just usually what happens. And I learned this myself.
So, Mr.
But I'll
Hamilton,
definitely also follow up. Like if there are any cases, and I'm sorry to cut you off, if there are any cases that may have just fallen through, we can definitely follow up. I just need that service request number.
so Vince and Mr. Hamilton, this is Charmaine. Just real quick. I know a lot of times they keep asking us for service request numbers. Part of the problem is we've had a system update. We've had some that were closed before the strike force. So to ask us to keep giving service requests is probably frustrating. What I suggested at an OCR meeting the other day is providing the address, because they have the capability to go in 311 and pull and see how many times we've reported about the same address. I think that would be more beneficial. And I also mentioned that to the director of OCR, that they start looking at addresses and not just the system requests, the system numbers, because that'll give you the history, how many times that property's been reported and how many times those tickets have been closed prematurely. So instead of asking for a service request, would it also be okay if we could just give you the address? And Vince, correct me if I'm wrong, don't you have the capability to go in the system and pull it out by address?
Yes. So that's a very good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea because then you can get those properties and see if there's been like 20 times we've been talking about the same issue on 20 times. Now, I mean, the community has built a record of the violations. And so now the county has to be responsible for that.
And
That's
so,
how it works.
so Mr. Hampton, what we did when we sent concerns from Camp Springs, some of the that we sent in, there were some of just samples of ones that have been reported over and over. Or it may be a case where there's multiple violations, and it seems like when the county comes out, if they come out, they're only citing one, usually the easier one, whether it's be trash. They can cite that they see some trash or debris on top in the yard. But there's the ones to the really involved that I guess concern us the most, or unpermitted additions, because that's tax dollars that's being missed, revenue, um, people parking on their lawns. And we even put in our tickets because we've met with DPI and they told us put in your tickets when this is happening. We'll try to come out on the weekend or come out on the evening. That's not happening. We say it's happening after 6 and they come out at 2, said nothing seen, reported again. So that's just not a good use of our time or your time.
All right. So let's anyone else have any more questions before we move on? All right. We're gonna move on. I just saw the Honorable Mahasan Alameen come in. She's the circuit court clerk. I would like to introduce her.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good
Okay.
evening.
Good to see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I do apologize for my tardiness. I am I'm at an event, it's an iftar event in Ramadan, observing the month of Ramadan, so I had to break my fast. So it's really important to make sure that I have, the energy to talk to you guys about my office and the things, we do. And so it's a pleasure. I like Mr. President said, my name is Mahassan El-Amin, and I am your elected clerk of the Circuit Court for Prince George's County. I've had the distinct pleasure of serving in this capacity since 2018, when my first election, and then reelected in 2022. And I am a Camp Springs member. I need to pay my dues, I'll admit, but I will send you my dues. But I'm born and raised in Camp Springs, Prince George's County, educated, and a lawyer by trade. The clerk of the circuit court, a lot of people don't know what we do. We are the record keeper of the courthouse. I like to say we are the heartbeat of the courthouse, because when we don't function, the courthouse does not function. And that has happened in the past. And it is a nightmare and can be very expensive and frustrating for our constituents. I have a staff of almost 200 wonderful, dedicated individuals who serve as, I would say, the liaison between you and the circuit court, because you don't really get to have a conversation with a judge. You don't get to have a conversation with a lawyer unless you retain them, or you have a short consultation. So my staff is on the front lines, and they are the ones who deal with everyone's issues and concerns. And they do a phenomenal job. They are a great group of people, and I could not do my job as your clerk if it were not for them. We're responsible for maintaining the courthouse records. So that means your property records. So all your deeds of trust are recorded in my office. We also process business licenses. So certain businesses require licenses, and that comes through my office. We're also considered the justice of the peace. So we issue marriage licenses, and yes, we can marry people. So yes, my name is on the marriage certificate. It's also on their divorce decree. So we do that. We process your civil cases. We are the busiest courthouse in the state of Maryland. And every case starts in the circuit court, starts in my office, and it finishes with my office. That means your divorces, your criminal indictments, your criminal cases that are appealed from the district court, your jury trials, guardianship cases, adoptions, if you're going to, those medical malpractices or those motor vehicle accidents, that is my office. One of the things that I want to make sure that I really talk about this evening is something that we're working diligently towards, my colleagues and I, 23 other elected clerks, is bringing a property notification system to Prince George, to the state of Maryland, because what we're seeing is a lot of folks who are having their property basically taken from them. What people can do are recording fraudulent documents in the respective recorders, or recorder of deeds or land records departments. Here is the clerk of the circuit court's office, and our job is strictly administrative. As long as the criteria on the documents are there, we have to process them. So what we're doing is we're creating a system where you have to opt in. The property owner has to opt in. And when something is recorded on your property, you get a notification. So that way, at least you know that somebody is doing something towards your deed. So it could be a good thing. Like if you have a release, you paid off your mortgage, way to go. That's and so you want, and you're waiting for that release to be recorded. And I just dealt with this a couple of weeks ago, where someone said they haven't recorded the release. And we're like, yeah, it's been recorded for like the last 5 months. You'll get notification that has been recorded. I tell people to make sure you check your deeds like you check your credit. You can check your property, and I just do a little status check, maybe once every 6 or so months. Just so you can go to Maryland SDAT, SDAT, and look up your property records. You can actually look up anyone's property records. You can see who has owned that property for the most part since it came into fruition. And you can actually see some types the actual plot of land. It's actually pretty interesting. So I cannot emphasize this enough because people are transferring property that like and it's not necessarily malicious, but they're transferring property and they're doing it at arm's length. They can be in California, filling out the paperwork, and then you have a remote notary. With the technology, it's so efficient and easy for us to do things remotely and not have to walk into the clerk's office or walk into a building to conduct business. But with that comes a heightened level of a possibility of being able of fraudulent activity. So we just want to make sure that we're mindful on that. So that's one of the biggest things that I just wanted to make sure that I let folks know about. One thing that I'm really proud of is that we rolled out our online case management system, where now if you're a registered user, you can look at your case online. We have made our process more efficient. Where people are filing, it may be less than 72 business hours to process documents that are coming through. It used to take us 5 to 7 business days, sometime longer. And it's something that we are really proud of. Another thing that we're doing, we have several job openings. So if you want to go to mdcourts.gov/careers, you can see all the many opportunities that we have and then that are around the state. The one great thing about the clerk's office is that we're state funded. Our employees are state. That means you get a pension, so you have state benefits, which is awesome. And next week, we'll be releasing opening our applications for our summer internship program. So we'll hire several students, high school, junior, seniors, and college students, and they get paid. I can't remember what the rate was last year, but it was definitely over $16 an hour, and they're working 35 to 40 hours a week. So the land records is SDAT, and I'm gonna drop it in the chat. That's what I'll do. I'll drop the website in the chat for you guys. You have to become a user. Registered user. It's free to look at the properties, but I'll drop it in the chat. So that's a little bit about me. I'll be on the ballot again for re-election, so I hope that I have your support. And if I'll take any questions if you guys have any. Okay, so we're hoping that the opt-in system will be available by the end of the year. We just went through, realistically, nothing in the judiciary moves fast. I'm going to tell you that when it comes to contracting and building things, we're literally building a system. So I was told sometime in September, we'll start rolling it out and testing it. So hopefully it'll be here before the end of 2026, beginning of 2027. And we're going to push the system out because we're using the same system that Georgia used. And apparently Georgia couldn't get people to opt in. It was a very slow process. And we're just like, what our constituents, they're talking about, they want it, they're talking about commercials that they're seeing, and ads they're seeing about monitoring your property. So there's definitely a need. And as soon as we get that out, trust me, you guys will know, because we need as many people in it as possible. And just give me one moment while I put in the chat about the SDAT, but I'm here for any questions.
Anyone has any questions? I think you have I think you have some great information that you was throwing some dimes.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm here to serve. And I forgot to mention, don't forget to do jury duty. It's really important that you guys serve on jury when you get that notice in the mail. If you can't serve, there on your qualification form, there's a website that you can go to and you can select you can select another date for you to serve. If you're 70 or above, you can opt out. But it's really important that you serve on jury because we are in a very unique situation where we actually can have a trial before our peers, and there are a lot of countries that do not have that. And it's really important that you want to serve. It's our duty. So I
Right
did
about
drop it
that.
in the chat. I did drop it in the chat.
Would you
Thank you so
also,
much for that.
excuse me, would you please also put the link for the job to opportunities?
Yep, I'm doing that. I'm just verifying. I'm just verifying the website, and I'm going to drop that in as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yep, I'm dropping it right now.
While you're doing that, see, community, this is why the Civic Association is so important, because it connects our government with the people. It connects the people with our government, so we can get to hear the information that's coming straight from the horse's mouth, not through television. Because a lot of these things are not going to be publicized. They're not going to put that out there about what's going on because it's too positive. So it's great that we have opportunity for the Civic Association to bridge that gap. And I think we are very happy. We are very happy. Let's see. Let's check. All right. So I see Miss McGann's online. Anything else, Mahasa?
No, I just want to make sure, remember to vote in your primaries. Everything from your congressional representative to the governor, all the way down to your central committee are going to be on the ballot. Your ballot is going to be super long because there are a lot of people running, right? Don't wait until June to learn about your candidates. The closer or the further down ballot that office is, the more impact, or the closer or the biggest impact it has on your life. Your central committee, your school board member, your register of wills, your sheriff, all that is at the bottom of the ballot. So please make sure you know know your candidates before you go into that booth or you fill it out at home.
Okay.
Oh, someone's raising their hand.
Yes. Go right ahead, Ms. Mason.
I just had another quick question. So the opt-in system, I understand it's going to be later in the year. You're hoping to have that out. How will we get notified?
Yes. So so what we're going to do is we'll do the blitz and things like that. And I will push it out. We will push it out. The Maryland Judiciary will push it out as much as we possibly can. You can always go to the mdcourts.gov website, and it's part of the mdcourts.gov, and you can see they have, and actually, to be honest with you, there's a whole list of wealth of information that's on the mdcourts.gov website. Forms, how-to videos, if you have to, go to court for a protective order or a small claims, all that. And there's a lot of self-help information on mdcourts.gov. Oh, well, I try to make it a little highlight, but that's the website, mdcourts.gov.
You do.
I gotta do the HTT and whatever. But anyway.
All right.
Okay.
She gave you the thumbs up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Where can you read up on the candidates? You can go to the you can go online to the Board of Elections website, and under the candidates listing, you can see all the candidates that are running in Prince George's County and around the state. And some of them have their website listed or their social media listed. You're going to start being inundated with lots of mailers and things that are going to come out. You're starting to see the signs come up. So there's going to be forums, all kinds of stuff. There's lots of ways to learn about the candidates.
That's important because when I think it was last time we was voting, I took all the flyers that came to my house. I looked up everyone. Do you know some of the flyers of the candidates that were on the ballot were not candidates anymore?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you know that some of those, they just random names with no websites, no nothing like that on the ballot? And all it takes is to pay the filing fee and get some signatures, and you'll be right on the ballot, and you can run for anything. But people don't check
Yeah.
these names and look up the candidate. And plus, I learned some stuff about some of these candidates that didn't make it. I was so thankful because I started looking at their background and their history. I was like, we can't have this. We can't have this person in there. So it's very important that you know, just like you buying a car or you buying something expensive. When you vote, you need to know who you're voting for.
Exactly.
Don't let nobody else tell you. Oh, look at over here, it's a shiny car. It's a new car. Car just shiny on one side, it's banged up on the other. You have to do. You have to really know what you're doing. It's your life. Voting is like your life token. You know, it's your
Yep.
life token. I vote for this, and then if you vote the wrong way, you can mess it up for everybody. We all being like we are now in Pearl.
Yeah. Well, some elections, I mean, realistically, some elections are won by 7 votes. Some of the councilmatic races, in 2022 and in 2018 were won by 7, 14,
Okay.
16 votes.
Yep,
So
it was close.
I put in the chat the elections website that has all the all the candidates, and you can see who's dropped out and things like that, who's withdrawn. But, definitely if you see somebody, just don't rely on their website, because you can put anything on the website, Google them, research them. You'll be able to find out, ask your neighbors, go to the candidates forums. We're out here in the streets. There's so many opportunities to meet your candidates. And if you don't see a candidate out, start to question that. Why are they not out?
Right.
I mean, we can't be everywhere. Let me preface that. I'm a countywide, I
true.
can't be at every single event, in almost 500 square miles. But yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go eat my dinner. I
Okay.
have to go. Okay.
Thank you so
But
much.
thank you so much.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
Hassan.
Thank you
You
very
too.
much. Bye, Camp Springs.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much. And also, I see Miss McGant is on our schedule. Are you there, Miss McGant? Marlene?
Are you talking? This is Marlene.
Marlene. Yes, ma'am. I'm talking to you. How are you?
Okay, I was waiting for to see if Zakia could log in, because the meeting nights for the board is the same meeting night
I
that we have
know.
our board.
I know.
But they should be. She had said she was gonna see if she can step out and call in, because these are some things that I know we're all concerned about, particularly the financial issues that's going to be impacting our school system. But I just kind of want to share a little bit. I apologize for being late too, because I'm in Woodbridge and couldn't get home. So let me just stop and get on the call. First of all, and I know I'm kind of late. I'm assuming that you spoke about the fundraiser, and okay, I wanted to share with the members. And what I will be doing this weekend is contacting all of our new members. And because the Civic Association, just a little, we have some shopping bags that all of our new members should be receiving. But also, what I'd like to do is kind of formalize and finalize the membership committee. So I'd like to make sure that they get some, just in the event that something happens to me or Delante or someone else on the board, that whole process doesn't stop like it has in the past. Because we want to make sure that you have something to show that you are a member. And we're kind of talking about what other items or what any other things that we can do to kind of verify membership on the Civic Association. We desperately need to have a meeting. I was really pleased to hear and participate in the discussion of the new members who are joining, who are ready to go, who are excited, because we desperately need some new blood, some new membership. I mean, some new members who great ideas, and also are willing to just jump in there and help us build the organization and get the word out to the community about what Civic Association can do and help spread the word. So I want to thank Delante for organizing that meeting.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And for those of you who are interested in, and I know some of the things, I went over the list that our treasurer sent us, the board, and people who've indicated that they're interested in being a member. If you did indicate on your form, your enrollment form, that you're interested, I'm going to be reaching out to you. And I don't mind, since we're all living kind of close together and kind of dropping off our the bags, but also just touching bases with you, so you can, put a face to the members, so we can get the opportunity to know each other and to see what we can do collectively to improve our community. I'm really glad to hear some of the other things that people are doing, because we all are impacted. When someone mentioned Chesterfield Drive, and I was trying to write that address because that's down the street around the corner from where I live. But that issue of the parked cars and those kinds of things are an issue that we all have been contending with. So, and I think we would put our heads together and come up with a strategy. And I was glad to hear that the part of the process of the problem is the coordination, perhaps, of the agencies. Because I've reported a couple of cars, and they're still there. I haven't seen any tags, but that provided some explanation, which makes sense. So I think as a community, we can put our heads together and see how we can help the agencies resolve that issue, because that's unsightly and it also adversely impacts our property values.
I agree.
But the only comments I have, and
One of the things, Marlon, one of the things that I see that as a community, what we can do, we need to we need to walk a complaint all the way through its process.
yes,
One complaint for trash. See how long that takes to get around to the person, and to get on a schedule or something to get that thing done. We need to do that with each one, because I think what we'll find out is that maybe somewhere along the way is bottleneck, where it's being done by maybe one person when they get a funnel of all these requests, or the agency maybe don't have the equipment. And we need to figure that out. We need to figure out, when we put a request in, and when the community requests something, what's all the steps? Where does it go? How far does it go? I think they say it goes to this agency, but where does it go? Who gets it? Is it the interns that get it? If interns, if interns over there, we can't count on the intern to try to get it done or push it through. Where does it go? Who desk does it fall on? Is there a mechanism in place where it files the information? Does it send this person? If that person not here today, does it go to another person, or does it sit on somebody's inbox until they come back from vacation? We need to find out, how does it all that work? I think as a community, we want to know if is our government working efficiently from our requests. We're the government too. We spend our money. We're part of this, so we want to know if it's running efficiently. It's being processed accordingly. Are the records being recorded accurately? Those type of things. I think we as a community, we need to get together and find out what's going on. And and not saying it's someone's problem, but it's probably the process that needs to be ironed out.
I actually think that's a very good idea. One of the things I'm listening to the gentleman share, and I'm wondering, for example, if the Civic Association, since we're an entity that's a part of the, quasi, but it's a part of the function of our community, if we submit a complaint, if we are entitled, if it gets bottlenecked, to be able to actually do just what you're saying, follow it through to see where the bottleneck or where the problem kind of lies. Individuals, I can understand why certain information might be privileged, but as a civic association, does that allow us to be a different entity that we can get information, more specific information, if we file submit information or a complaint as the association? if that, does that entitle us to be able to walk it through more efficiently? You understand what I'm asking, as opposed to an individual?
Right. We know, but what you're talking about is like say they trying to hold something like information. But before we get to that part, if we have to get to that, you just want
Well,
to know
I'm
what's the
saying in terms of,
process.
I would imagine there's certain information that they can't just share because of, privacy. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about giving someone's personal information.
Mhm.
We're just talking about making up a ticket,
Yeah,
making up a ticket,
and
and
walk it.
see it and walk it through and see how long it takes to get to one person's
Mhm,
desk from out of that system. When they close it, where does it go from there?
mhm.
After that, where does it go from there? And when does it reach the person that we're trying to just, you have to,
Yeah,
when they write the laws, sometimes there's gaps in between.
yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Hamilton.
I had a question just regarding, because I know some civic associations in the county and some HOAs, they're allowed to give out some things, they're allowed to give out fines. I know, for example, in some, I believe but these are municipalities, and I know there's one in Bowie that they're allowed to give out fines. For example, if you don't cut your grass, at 2 weeks, or if there are cars in the middle of the grass or things of that nature, they're allowed to give out, the civic association themselves is allowed to give out fines. And I was wondering, do you guys have any power to give out fines in your civic association for like the Camp Springs community? That was the first question, and then I will say from our process what we do with the complaints that come to our office. But the first question, are you guys allowed to give out fines or?
I don't remember seeing that in our civic association. Angel, I see you have your hand up. I'm not sure if we
No, no, sir. No, sir.
if we
That's
have,
Okay,
we
so you
we,
guys are
we
not.
don't
yeah,
do
there go
Okay.
that.
there go John. Yes. Those are
Um,
municipalities and probably HOAs or something like that.
Mhm.
right. I know HOAs definitely can, but I've seen some civic associations do that as well. My next question for you guys, well, not my next question, sorry, but I wanted to respond to, and so when we get a complaint to our office, and I'm talking about Councilman Burrow's office because we're a legislative office, what
Hmm.
we do is we try to direct to the agency. And so once it hits the agency, I'm not sure where it goes, but that's actually a really good question. That if it's a civic association, that means more than one person is there's like, it's a neighborhood problem, not just a
Mhm.
personal problem.
Hmm.
Like, where does it go, and what exactly where is the bottleneck sometimes? Because sometimes, trust me, I don't want to get 100 emails about the same thing, and then I'm wondering where the same thing, and I can't give you guys any answer. The other thing is we're legislative office and not one of the executive agency offices. And I think people feel like that we work directly under the executive when it's different branches of government. I just wanted to say that fact, but I do wonder, like, and maybe I can reach out to some of the agencies and say, like, if there is a civic association request, or if civic associations can reach out to the agency, that would be a very, very good um just thing to know from my perspective as well.
Right. Because one of the things, I'm gonna let Angel talk before I say something. Go ahead, Angel. You had your hand up.
Thank you, Delonte.
Mhm.
We have reached out to certain agencies. We have had meetings with certain agencies about some of the concerns that we've had in our community. And a lot of times we get answers from them, but we don't see the actions.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why we're always coming to Councilman Burrow's office to voice our complaints, because we need someone to advocate for us, because we're doing the best we can, but we want the community to feel like the civic association is helping. So when we're not doing what we need to do, or the community feel that we're not doing what we need to do, they feel that we're a waste because they feel like nothing is getting done in the community. And I know a lot of these agencies are under the county executive office. And we had that big civic association meeting last year, right around the end of the year. And you were there when um, um, Executive Brayboy is supposed to be there. And a lot of the members who showed a lot of the members who showed up that day and just the community as a whole kind of felt some kind of way about, you know, they all came out, they wanted their concerns heard, but a lot of them feel like, why do we come to these meetings? Why do we participate? Why do we do what we do when we feel like we're not being heard or things are not happening? And like Vince said, things are happening, they're just moving at a slower pace. But when you spend 3 years, 4 years trying to get your street paved or get humps put on your street because people are speeding up and down your street now, like it's 95 or Branch Avenue, and you're being told, okay, you're on the list, but then you get told the next time, oh, you're not on the list. Sorry, we ran out of funds. We'll see where we'll put you at. And now it's been like almost a year and a half, 2 years, and we still haven't heard anything back. So I think that's where the community is getting kind of frustrated about things. And that's why we reach out to the offices that we reach out to, because we feel like we're just not being heard. So if I'm making sense, Mr. Hamilton, you know, we hate to be this way, but you know, sometimes we got to push to get what we want. And I think the community feels like the Civic Association is not doing enough, but we are. Behind the scenes, we're working very hard for the community. And I don't think they understand that or realize that. But if they start seeing some actions from some of the higher ups, you know, maybe they'll be willing to join and become a member and help out and volunteer and have more faith in the people that they elect into these jobs. So didn't mean to go that far with it, but just trying to let you know how the community probably feels. And I don't know if everybody feels the same way I do, but I'm hearing from my neighbors that, you know, they're concerned.
And I definitely understand that. And like I said, I'm always open. I gave my email address. I'm willing to meet. I'm willing to meet in person. I'm willing to meet over the phone. So it just, again, once I can say what we can do from a legislative standpoint. The problem is we have to direct it to the agency, and I think it is a good idea to see exactly what is the exact process of, like, where does it go, because I just have contacts with different agencies, and I trust me, these agencies are doing as much as they possibly can too, and I understand what it feels like not to be heard. But I'm just hoping that you guys understand that I am doing my best, and please feel free to reach out to our office anytime like you feel like you're not being heard, and we will try everything our best to make it happen.
Okay, thanks so
That's
much.
why I appreciate these meetings and coming on to them as well. So thank you for having me as well.
Marlene has her hand up. You want-
That's one reason why I really like your idea, Delande. And I think a small group of us kind of look at for those things that we know in our neighborhoods that we've made several calls or several tickets or whatever. And let's just select one or two and as a group kind of follows it. Because not that people are doing things that or not doing what they should, but there's obviously some issues that or some glitches in this process. And I'm concerned also because we're faced with a serious budget deficit on all the levels. So if we can't get through that bottleneck, next year we, may have to address issues without the resources that we have this year. So I'd be willing to sit and talk and work with a group of people, on the board or whoever, just so we can identify those ones that we want to walk through this process. I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Vince, and then I'm gonna go. I see Zakia's on. We're gonna go to Zakia after that.
Yes, real quick. I just want to second what Miss Marlin, I hope I'm saying your name right. I second what you're saying, actually. I also want to take into consideration with the Civic Association essentially submitting a single service request. I guess you all would be talking about that service request. But I think take into consideration, like, the people who are not in the Civic Association or just may miss the meeting on that particular day. That is something you also can't control. And when we see that in the system, all we really see is multiple requests for the same thing, which isn't like a good thing, but it's just something we're trying to work through. I also want to speak on behalf of our agency. Like, we're kind of trying to find different ways to hold the other agencies accountable. We're all working together. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal. Even with Councilman Burrow's office and the rest of the council, we're all trying to accomplish the same goal to enhance our quality and standard of living. But, sometimes I just want to say that sometimes things just get a little slow in government. We're trying to find, processes and then funding for that as well. So I just want to say that much, and I'll let Mrs. Akia, get on.
Thank you so much, Vance. You're absolutely right. It's no one's like under the gun. We're just trying to see how the system works, because once we understand, maybe one agency takes a week or two. Now, but now we know it takes a week or two. You see what I'm saying? Then we can start adding up, like, oh no, this job takes that long because it has to get processed. It has to go through and make sure it's approved and make sure this and that. We just want to know what's the steps and making sure that however long it takes or whatever it's supposed to be, that we have an idea, because then we'll be speaking. Oh no, everyone knows and be like, oh no, it's gonna take about a month and a half, or they'll come quick about a week. We can easily say those little things, but right now when people put in the tickets, they be like, well, they didn't come. I put it in yesterday. I'm like, come on, man. You gotta have some realistic ideas. You gotta go through the system. It's electronic, ain't it? Yeah, but they had to process it. So that's a good, I think. Is Mr. Kia here? Our school board representative?
I am. Good
Welcome,
afternoon or
welcome.
evening at this point. Hello, everyone. Are you all able to see me? No. My screen. There we
There you
go.
go.
Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness. As usual, our Civic Association meetings overlap with our board meetings. And so I came to you all following our work session today on AI. I wanted to give you all a few updates on where the school board is and the work that we're doing, and as well as answer some general questions that were given, and then give you all an opportunity to ask questions as well. So for my overall updates, we submitted our budget to the county, to our county executive at the end of February. And today, our county executive submitted her budget to the county council, and they will be engaging in different manners. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Hamilton went over most of that, but they will be engaging more in the community and all on exactly how our county budget gets approved. However, on our school district side, we still have some additional work to do about what exactly is happening with the acceleration funds that were allotted to us in our county executive's budget. And that work group actually starts on Monday. The District 8 representative is actually a parent from my Angelou French Immersion, Camila House. That was the only school in District 8 that was really impacted at the classroom level by the budget that was proposed. And if you all have more questions, happy to fill you all in on that afterwards, but trying to keep it short. Um, on the budget proposal, they were affected by the budget proposal that was put forth in terms of eliminating International Baccalaureate, aka IB, from our elementary and middle schools in the county. So we've got a work group led by myself and Dr. Moss, the board member for District 7. And we'll be starting that work on Monday, hoping to get to some sort of resolution, including as many stakeholders as possible, including the business community, which often gets left out of these conversations, about how we can best support our students given the massive budget deficit that we face this year and expect to be facing going forward into the future. That is our budget and the work group. We also have coming up our parent and community representative for District 8 is term limited. So she will be no longer representing us in PCAT. So that will be an opening that will be coming up soon. There'll be more information coming out broadly, but if anybody is interested, feel free to reach out. I can give you all some more information on what exactly PCAC does. And then last, but certainly not least, on the other side of the budget house, because we have an operating budget and we have a facilities budget, on the other side, we are really getting into the work of our educational facilities master plan, which is this massive document and work plan, essentially, of how our schools are going to be maintained for the next 10 years. So the current one we are in now ends at the end of this fiscal year, and that one will be starting, excuse me, at the end of 2027 fiscal year. And the one we're working on now will start in 2028. Engagement for that right now, we are having conversations in our operations, budget, and fiscal affairs committee, and the engagements for the community for you all to be able to actually give feedback and talk about that will be coming up soon. But I definitely wanted to mention that because we get a lot of questions around what's going on with our buildings, specifically here in District 8. For some of us that are aware, John Hanson Montessori has, as a building, has reached the end of its useful life. I know several people remember on this call, remember when they used to be on Allentown Road. They are now in Oxon Hill, but they are moving again, in large part due to just the building is not useful anymore. They can't stay in there. It's not a place where we would want students to be. Um, and a lot of, in terms of funds this year, have been expended to ensure that building is still safe for students this year and that the building that they're moving to next year will be safe as well. There were some concerns about constituents because that is a specialty program and they're pulling from all of South County, not just District 8. Some concerns about the roof leaking. Those concerns have been addressed. The mold has been abated, the issues from that specific leak. And then last but certainly not least, the most recent update about our calendar as a result of our weather contingency days. We have submitted another waiver to the state. They should be getting back to us after the State Board of Education meeting on March 25th. We have our board meeting on March 26th, and the first day in our calendar that would be impacted by those decisions would be March 27th. Based off of that determination, we would have a half day that day or a full day. So we are trying to get those words out to parents to, fingers crossed, hoping we get that approved and to expect a full day on that. And there should be more communication going out directly to parents via SchoolMax for that. Trying to make sure that I am hitting all of the updates as well as the things that were asked about specifically. The other part, specifically around the budget, are special education. So with our accelerants of the $50 million that we asked for additionally, I believe roughly 27 million were specifically for acceleration and supports in special education. Special education is, for any educational system, always a very daunting undertaking because while we get federal funds, the federal funds do not cover the full cost of what we need to support special education. And then on the flip side, as the program delivers, as teachers and administrators in buildings, there is just a massive amount of knowledge and information that you need to have to properly deliver special education supports. And there are always problems hiring special education teachers, retaining them, balancing their workloads, and all of that. So that corrective action was delivered from the state and then from the federal government, specifically around timeliness of getting students services and escalated services. So contrary to what might be going around in the community, is the specific corrective action is around how quickly we are getting students services that are not available within their building. And that comes with a lot of moving parts. They are working on it. We've got lots of support and help from, lots of support and help from both the state and national departments of education, as well as the different contractors that we have approve contracts for to support with things that our teachers are specifically overworked with. In terms of the breakdown of where those funds are going, we did not get approved, or I should say, our full additional $50 million ask was not approved in the county executive's budget. And so part of the job of this work group is figuring out how much of the amount of money that we did get allocated can go where in those different priorities. So not just our programs, our educational programs in school buildings, but also special education and all of the aspects of special education, not just the ones that happen at individual schools. And then last but certainly not least, there was a question about specifically Crossland. So as we know, I want to say it was 3 years ago now, Crossland High School became a career and technical education school, fully CTE. And for those of us in this area that were assigned to Crossland, are now as a neighborhood school sent to Surrattsville High School. So Crossland is now application. So anyone around the county is able to apply to Crossland and get in through those specialty programs and the lottery. There's not a partnership, so to speak, with individual schools where kids can go at a certain time. Anyone can apply and still go to Crossland. And they are rolling out some new programs. I'm told that we are getting some new programs for next year. So I don't have the full details on that, but I am looking forward to hearing them and then being able to share them with you all. So I know I did a lot of talking, and so I will pause at this point for questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, Ms. Sayers, I see your hand up. Go right ahead.
Lawyers. Hi, Ms. Goins, McCants. So I don't want to make this whole meeting about me. So my son is in the special education program at Potomac High School. And that's the part of the school that he is in is, I think it's the original building to Potomac. And so you discussed that I think you said John Hanson that school is going to be, they're getting a new school, or they're moving out of John Hanson. And so over the past couple of years, PG County has built several new schools, which is wonderful. But what are you all doing to address issues within the old schools? And I'm specifically speaking about Potomac because that's where my son goes. The bathrooms in that wing of his school need to be redone. And so what are you all doing to address those issues?
Absolutely.
Or are you addressing them?
So the broad answer, number one, I am sorry that the bathrooms are terrible. I have heard several things about the bathrooms from community members, and our operations chief is looking into that specifically because the way that the work orders come in at this point, unfortunately, as a system, we are very much we are putting out fires and having to be a lot more reactive than we would like to be because our school buildings are just old. And in fact, in District 8, we have, when our last update that we got from this, we have on average the oldest school buildings in the county at 49. Like the other districts have on average like 44, 46, but ours on average are 49 because to that point with the new buildings being built, the only new building that we got was Colin Powell. On the flip side of that, we also have, in terms of the percentage of useful life, which is a very complicated way of saying basically how bad off are the buildings. Our buildings are not as bad off on average as some of the other buildings, and we have different occupancy ratings in our buildings than others. And so the short answer to your question is we are handling all of the issues in terms of the buildings as they come and according to severity. unfortunately, we do not have the money in either our operating budget or our facilities budget to fully address every single concern that comes up. And that team is constantly working, as I said, like the holes in the roof at John Hanson. They had to close school and figure out what was going on to fully address that in the moment. Um, and there are buildings like that all across our county. With the P3 that is going on to get those new schools built, including Colin Powell, our county councilman fought very hard to get additional schools in District 8 and South County as a whole. And quite frankly, what we are hearing time and time again in terms of our buildings is it is about occupancy. And on the flip side of that, while it can be very frustrating and we are still fighting, it is also a different reality walking into a building. Again, I don't know if people how long people have been in the community, but I have been told by my colleagues when I worked there at Crossland that there were a time when that building was so packed, we had almost 2,500 students in that building. And so now the last numbers I saw, I think they're at 1,500 now. And when I worked there, we were down to just under 1,000. And so contrasting that with buildings, other places in the county where they are at 100, well, I can't even say other places in the county, contrasting that with Colin Powell, for example, that it was at last check 120% occupancy. They're just full and we have to find suitable places to educate kids. But please let me know if there are truly safety issues in terms of the maintenance work that is not being done, please let me know. And you can let me know directly. I know you said you didn't want to take up the whole meeting with your concerns, but overall, like your concerns, I'm sure are the concerns of other people, and we want to hear about them because it's one thing for somebody to go into a building and evaluate, like, yes, this is ugly. We don't like it, but children are still safe and can learn here. It's another thing for us to have actual documented evidence, like actually, this is not safe, and here's why. And that does move things up much further on the list in terms of what repairs are done.
Thank you.
All right. Angel has a question. Go ahead, Angel.
I'm not going to keep you long, Zakia, but I work for the U.S. Department of Education, and there are a lot of things that they're doing now to move a lot of things out of the federal government into the state's hand. And they think that the state will be capable of dealing with all their schools and all their issues that they have for their particular state. Hearing what you just said makes me really wonder and worry about the state of our students going forward without having the federal government. I'm not saying that we're the best, but having them hold some of these states accountable because it seems like the south end of PG County is getting a lot of the talk, but I know there are solutions and I know you guys are working on the solutions to make things better. If you could just like maybe forward some of that information so we can put it up on our website about some of the things that you can share so we can let the community know what you guys are actually working on, and so they'll feel like something is being done and they're not just not being heard. But I just know that a lot of the federal government now thinks that the state can do a lot of this work, and a lot of states can't handle it because they're already talking about things like, oh, you can handle your civil rights complaints and your special education complaints. And after hearing this, it really bothers me. And so any resources or any services that you can provide so we can share to our community would be very helpful.
So I will say with our special education department as a whole and the complaints around special education, we as a board have taken a particular interest in what exactly is happening with that and what the breakdowns are, not only from a systems level and structurally, which is our governance aspect, but also what we're hearing from parents. And one of the big breakdowns that we are now trying to figure out what is the best way to write policy around and work with our superintendent to get addressed is there's a gap between what is offered, what policy says, like this will happen, and then people's actual experiences in buildings. And that is not what the district is in corrective action for, but that is what students and parents and families are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And so there is a huge disconnect oftentimes when we're talking about it at the board level as to what's being done. So, for example, one of the things that was discussed in terms of our ask for additional support with special education is that at the school level, each one of our autism programs, excuse me, gets a dedicated program coordinator. Because right now, what's happening is we have our autism programs within schools. So in District 8, that is at Colin Powell, they've got actually a pretty large autism program. There's no dedicated coordinator for that program. So we have our special educators who are handling their caseload, who are directly supporting students, and they're also handling all of the questions and concerns and all of those things from parents about the autism program specifically, because those are not things necessarily that the administration of the building is equipped to do because it is a special autism program. And those are the types of things, again, we're working on what is the best way. One of them was the coordinator, but what is the best way to make that experience more streamlined for parents, but also making sure that we are getting students the services that they need. And to your point, how do we make sure that that is messaged appropriately? Because obviously at the point where an individual is experiencing a failure in services, we don't care anymore about like what is happening here and all the wonderful plans and all that kind of stuff. At this point, I'm upset because I'm not getting what I need to properly support my child. But I do sincerely appreciate that and would love to talk more about what exactly is happening as we go through this process now of ensuring we have the funding for next year, both through this work group and as we are still working with the Maryland General Assembly to get additional funding specifically for special education.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you explaining that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, anyone else have any other questions? Well, our school board representative, Zakia Gordon McCann. No? All
And
right, I
if you
want to
don't
thank.
have any now, you can feel free to email me. I'll put my email in the chat for you all individually.
All right. All right, then. I say anyone have any more other questions for Mr. Hamilton or Vince? Well, all right. Well, I don't see no hands up.
Delante,
All right.
this is Charmaine.
Okay, go ahead, Charmaine.
So, Mr. Hamilton, I know this is on a lot of people's minds regarding data centers. And I know that I've heard there's various levels of legislation being written, but one of our concerns is that it's not a comprehensive effort to put all those together in one place and make sure that we define terms so we have those common understanding across these various issues regarding data centers. Can you talk about that a little bit?
To be completely honest, we're still in our office talking about data centers, and from what I can understand, I saw that you guys asked me about it. I just have no comment regarding data centers right now. But once Ms. Charmaine, I put my email in the chat, and once I do have more information regarding the data centers, I can let you know. But our office does not support anything that could harm anyone in our district and anybody, any Prince George's County or Maryland hurt anyone. So just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you for that. And I guess another topic that comes up quite a bit is our high electricity bills. I'm sure you hear this. Is there anything your office can share regarding that?
Yep. So I think I shared earlier in the meeting, but one of the things that we have done is we started an investigation under Pepco, because there was a bill that said that a utility company could not raise their prices or do anything by 2 times or 3 times, I'm not sure, but they have raised it over 5 times. And so one of the things that our office has offered is the senior support fund. And then I put the phone number in the chat, but it's 301-888-0463. You can call them, and we are willing to pay part of your Pepco bill if you're over 65 and you live in District 8. All you have to do is provide the bill and proof that of your address and your ID, and that we're willing to pay $500 into those bills. But yes, we have seen the raise of PEP. That's what made us submit the bill to the county.
So the bill that you submitted, is it, you say that's it's a investigation bill? What type
Correct.
of?
So we're asking the AG's office to investigate Pepco.
Okay.
And because of the raise of prices, especially around our district and a few other districts in the county. Let me see.
Ms. Manson has her hand up. Go ahead, Ms. Manson.
I'm sorry, I was looking through the chat and I didn't see Mr. Hamilton's email address. I thought the
I can
number.
put it back. I'll put it again. Give me a second.
Thank you.
No problem. And like I said before, I am able to reach. You can set up virtual meetings with me, and on some Fridays I'll come out and do visits in person as well. So I'm very reachable.
So in regards to that, thank you about the senior support. I
Yep.
guess I've gone to a couple of forums, town halls, and I guess one of the other concerns, I appreciate that y'all initiated that investigation, is that there's support like for seniors and if you're low income, but the everyday working class person is not getting that support, and those bills can go as high as $1,400 a month. So that's why I raised the question about what's being done at a legislative or investigative level to get, to find out what's going on with the bills, because they really are out of control. And the other interesting thing is Pepco is under Exelon, BG is, and a couple of other ones. And if you compare our bills in Prince George's County to other counties within Maryland, or even going across the bridge to Virginia, we're all under the same grid. Why is PG's bill so much higher than our neighbors? And I know you don't have an answer, but that is a concern when you actually take the bills, and there's some people in other counties who are using more kilowatts. Say, for example, 1,000 more kilowatts, but their bill is hundreds of dollars less than what our bills are.
Yep, and that's one of the main reasons why we're doing the investigation, because that's one of the things that we notice is that we don't have any data centers. And so for them to say that data centers and a grid and all this other stuff is a reason why Virginia has tons of data centers and their bills aren't like ours. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing the investigation.
Yeah, definitely keep us informed of what's going on with that, because
Definitely.
because that means we're being gouged to pay for everybody else, probably because of our community. That ain't right.
And then, Mr. Hammond, I guess another concern from a civic association perspective would also be all the unlicensed vendors, particularly ones that are selling food. It's just been kind of hard getting a handle of, we've reported this multiple times. It's another situation where I guess when the inspectors have come out for that, they're not working on weekends. We're told that DPI does, but they seem to have the same vendors over and over. Some of them are better than others, but they do leave a mess. It's an eyesore. And plus they're selling food, and then they're not all that. So one of the things I heard the PG Police Department, they was going to try to partner with, who was the other agency? I can't think of it. I want to say Department of Health, because they have a little bit more authority as far as a higher fine, and also being able to actually tow their trucks away from that location, whereas the police, all they can do is a smaller fine, and they can't really have the truck towed. So do you have any information to share about that?
So currently I just really need, and I think I've said this before, and I understand it is kind of annoying sending all this stuff in email, but just for my records and so that we're keeping up with things of that nature, so that I can send to DPI, and that when I talk to DPI, hey, there's been 20 people that reached out to me regarding this vendor, what's going on with this, or there's been 15 people that reached out regarding this vendor, what's going on with this, and like inspectors can go on the weekend sometimes, but sometimes we just got it's just great to follow up in writing a lot of the time, and I thank you guys for what you guys sent me, and I am looking into it as well. And then I also saw the traffic study with the car wash at the busy intersection as well of the corner of Allentown Road and Old Branch Avenue. I've submitted that to DPWT for a traffic study already. So just basically I think one of the things is if you guys do have any issues, like especially with vendors, especially with I'll let Vince answer this, but with 311 concerns, me and Vince have a meeting every other week where we discuss all the concerns all over District 8. And I think it would be great to see these in writing so that when we're going to the agencies, we can say, hey, this has came up 50 times, or this has came up 40 times, or this has came up 2 times, just so we can know. Go ahead, Ms. Goins McCants.
Well, I really wanted to hear what you were saying about that before I interject, because I want to go back to the energy issue. And you all talked about the bill, and that you all were pushing the issue for the Attorney General or the state to do the investigation.
Right.
You know, the reality is too, for part of us, you know, hopefully that they'll take it serious. And if they need some support from people, particularly in District 8, I'm sure to make sure that the information is accurate, that they hear from the community and not just, you know, looking at the data that PEPCO. And if you all need some support from, I know, Civic Association to kind of push that along, I think, you know, again, we know numbers make a difference, but if you all need us to jump up and down or send letters and stuff to somebody, you know, I know we are willing and able to do that, because that's one of the things that my neighbors on Westchester, we just call and compare each other, compares how much our bills have been, utilities. And the other piece is, and I don't know if it's something, something we haven't talked about, but there's a lot of advertising in Maryland, and I don't know if the program is still valid or where people who had panels, and I think we need more education about that, those kinds of things. So there will come a time that we, you know, it's the best we can do, but if that's something that's really going to help in the long run, then somebody should educate our community, educate us, particularly, you know, the older population, whether or not that's a good place, where to go, and is it really saving dollars? Those kinds of things. So energy issue has become a crisis. Some of those bills, we've had neighbors with, you know, 600, 500. Personally, we've had ridiculous amounts, but in the meantime, provide some information to us about what's real and not what the advertisements say about panels and solar, all those things. Because I get a sense that people are being ripped off. And I know Maryland had a federal program that supplemented or helped, or something that Maryland was trying to do to reach a certain number of households with panels. It makes sense. We talk about clean energy, but we need more education about that. What does that mean? And does it really help individuals because those things can be costly.
I definitely agree with that, especially the education part. Even there's still some stuff that I don't know. And then also, if I do need you, because that bill was my baby. One of the reasons, because a lot of constituents were coming to me regarding the PEPCO, the prices, and I just noticed it in my own house as well. It skyrocketed as well. So just basically, and if we do need people to testify, don't worry, I'm gonna call you first, Miss Ms. Goins, Ms. Cantz.
I can get 3 or 4 of us from the households and that neighbors. We could.
That's what I like to hear. So, but I will do my research, and that you brought up a really good point about the solar panels, and I will do my research to find some way to get educated on that, because that would be good for the community to know and for myself to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a question for Zakia real quick. What do they do with the data that they collect from the special education surveys, and how are they using it to staff program improvements?
Can you say more about what you mean by what they do with the data?
I'm just saying it doesn't seem like some of the information from the surveys collected. It seems like, unfortunately, I'm sure this is a systemic problem, but it sounds like, to be frank, it sounds like a lot of double talk, but it doesn't sound like much concrete information, because it's like, okay, if you have a working group, what are the outcomes and objectives that come out of each of the working group? What specific services are improved? What's the data that's shown, okay, we used X amount of dollars and we got Y, versus year 1 to year 2 and to year 3? Like, that's real metrics versus we're supporting this, we're looking at that, we're cutting that. Like, where can I find the data from 2024 to 2025? How did we improve? What schools did we improve from? Where were we deficient? Like, real metrics versus we're doing X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha. So, roughly speaking, they report to us at board meetings. In terms of the raw data, I don't know. I would have to find out and get back to you. I think also with that, a lot of what sounds like double speak, especially when we're talking about special education, comes down to where the breakdown happens. If it's a school breakdown or if it's a central office breakdown. And I know that it can sound like double speak, because while people are talking about, like, we're moving on these metrics, like we are delivering this percentage of on-time IEP meetings, this percentage of students are getting all of their hours met, etc. What people are experiencing in buildings feels a lot different. And overall, not just for special education, trying to figure out how to mitigate that variance is a big issue, especially with a school district this size. In terms of those actual metrics, in terms of what is getting better, what is changing, we have reporting on that comes to us at the district level. In terms of what it looks like at each individual school, I would have to ask them to parse the raw data that way specifically.
Yeah, and I think that would be important, because as you get it at the district level, if once you get the reports per school, all it is just taking each of those data points and as an ingest, and reporting it at a higher level, because it's sort of I think of work. I know how to manipulate data, but the key about it is I can also show you the information. If you're getting reported at each school base, you can see, okay, we're school X, we're school Y, and then how does this affect the actual overall PG County schools? I don't know if it would actually support what you're saying, but without having that information, and especially the areas that are causing the most critical mass, um, it it just doesn't seem to be. It is the progress. While I'm not saying it isn't occurring, it's not. Maybe it's not being demonstrated in a way that I would say as parents can actually see their progress. And so maybe if you provide per school raw data, or say, hey, for these services, this X child might benefit to go to this school versus that school. And maybe you wouldn't have so many complaints, but without real measures and metrics, it's constant spin. And I'm just saying that for me.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to. I think that was so much. That was great. We are having a good meeting of talking about how things are processed and how we should be reading data. This is a good meeting. All right, Charmaine, we get you. I see you with your hand up.
Yes, two things. So I noticed in the chat that Vince did text that him and Mr. Hamilton have been looking at the unlicensed vendors.
Can't hear her.
Can't hear you for some reason.
Is that better?
No.
I can hear you a little bit, but your voice is low.
Yeah.
Can you share what you just shared with in the chat about the vendors?
I think she said, can you please share in the chat? What was
What
the
you said
last
about
part?
the venue? What about the venues?
About the
The
vendors.
vendors.
What you just put in the chat, Vince. Can you please share it?
Yeah, so I was saying, Mark and I have had a conversation about the informal vendors and people who do essentially work on their property. We're trying to find places for, and this is just conversations we're having. We're in talks about trying to find places for people to formally and share their businesses with people, but in a way that is regulated. We're just trying to have these conversations so we could possibly see if we can do something about it. Typically, once somebody is cited, and granted, they have to be, kind of seen to be cited. Once they're cited, they get, an associated fine with that. And I do believe that as time passes, it does increase, as do most fines. But I think it's a daily increase as well. And that's just something that Revenue Authority has been, trying to stay abreast on as well.
Okay.
But definitely keep continuing to report them. I don't want to knock anyone's hustle, but we just have to find a way to ensure it's safe for everybody, including them.
True. All right. Well, we run into the closer to the end, so I got like 4 minutes. So I want to thank all the guests for coming out. Thank everybody for sharing their sharing their information, and thank you for the community for allowing your government to your agencies, the government to speak to you, and you speak to your government because you great ideas came out. There's some good things tonight. I wrote a lot of good notes down. This is what community is about. It's about all of us working together because we live here. Um, we want the best for our community and other communities too. We just want the best all around. And if it's going to take Camp Springs to lead the way and showing other communities how we can work well with our government and to make our lives better, I'm up for the challenge. I'm up to showing that we can do it. Hard work, but we can do it. I just want to remind you guys before I leave about the maps. I'm gonna need volunteers to come out and do your block. I need volunteers. I'll be at PJ's Coffee. I think it's on Saturday. What I wrote down, Saturday at 9 to 10. That is crazy. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna try to come out get these maps so we can find out what area you live in, and so we can pass them out to your neighbors, put them on the doors on your neighbors because we need volunteers, and just come and meet me.
Where
You
is
know,
PJ's Coffee?
so it's at what is it? What's the ad? PJ Coffee's over there by the subway, by Branch Avenue Subway. I should have the address. Uh, I'm gonna send something out to the members. If you're a member, I'm gonna send it out to you and let you know that meet me out there so we can get the information. I want to just do that so we can get things rolling. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for the community. It's really a pleasure. I love hearing y'all talk back and forth and getting some things done. It's going to be a hard fight because with things going on with our federal government, a lot of things are getting tightened down. We're not getting the things that we want, but also I want y'all to be mindful of hard times are coming. I believe the hard times are coming, and we just have to come together and work together as neighbors and family and try to make sure we hold each other up during these hard times because I believe it's coming and it's going to take us being together to get through it. Well, anyway,
But Delonte, we're not going to
yes.
claim that. We're going to claim good things. But
Oh
I
yeah, we
just want
could.
to remind everybody on the
Hey,
call tonight, please do not forget about the Camp Springs Civic Association Double Good
yes,
fundraiser. If you're interested in participating, please reach out to us at csca.media@gmail.com. We're going to start opening up the fundraiser tomorrow. So we hope that we get a lot of people to put in their information so we can share that code and that link, and we can raise money for the Civic Association so we can start putting money into what we need to do to make this community a better place. So please be on the lookout for that link. And please share it with your family and friends and neighbors, because we just need our community to step up and let's do this.
Yes, we are. Like I tell everybody who don't know us, they say, yeah, we live in PG County. I say, yeah. I say, we are Camp Springs. And I say with emphasis, like, yeah, it's the place, Camp Springs. All right. So I want everybody to have a wonderful evening. It's 9 o'clock. I don't want to hold your time up. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I want everybody to have a great evening, and we're going to end the meeting at 9 o'clock. I want to thank you all and have a great, great week. Until next time.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here.